This podcast is sponsored by Utocop. For more details, please click on the link that is in the description below. Guys, welcome to episode 7 of On a Personal Note with Adarsh Sakare. Today we have in our studio Nikhil Pande. Hi, Nikhil Pande.
Hi, Adarsh. How's it going?
Good, man. Good. Nikhil, before I introduce you, right, you cracked a PJ just before we shot.
No throwbacks even before it started.
So I want to crack a PJ. Your Instagram says I am number 5, but you are number 7, bro.
Oh, no.
On our studio.
Who are the last two?
The last two was Manat Anand and Anand Ratnam.
All right.
So, anyway, that was the PJ I wanted to crack.
Damn.
I kept telling Gautam I'm going to crack that PJ, and he has his hand on his face. But there you go. I had to get that out of the way.
That's his general approach in life, just saying. Hand on his face is like a constant thing that he's had since 5th grade. So,
oh man, it's nice that we've started the episode with talking about Gautam because just for your information, we met because of Gautam here.
Yeah.
So anyway, Nikhil, I want to read out this, right? So you can go to Instagram. His handle is I am number 5 when I can display it here. So it says this, right? To live is to risk it all. Otherwise, you're just an inert chunk of randomly assembled molecules drifting wherever the universe blows you. And this was the first thing I liked about your Instagram profile. So, bro, wanted to know from you why that and what's your thought on it.
That's Rick and Morty, by the way.
Okay.
If you follow the show,
I don't, but
it has a lot of shithousery in it. That's what the show is about.
Okay.
All right, it's about a grandchild and his grandfather who are like friends, and they basically they go on interdimensional travels and all because Rick is a scientist.
Yeah.
And why that? Probably because it made so much sense to put it up there. Risk, right? Not a lot of people risk everything that they have to get to where they want to be.
Right.
And that is something that really sat well with me, you know.
And that's why it goes up there.
That's why it goes up there.
Perfect, man. That's one more thing I wanted to get out of the way before we start. So a little about Nikhil. Why is Nikhil here, and why should you watch this episode? So the one thing that really did it for me, the reason that topped it for me for you to be on the show is this. So you see so many athletes, you see so many people interested in sports, they're pursuing their milestones and whatnot, right? But Nikhil has this other side of him that feels very strongly for upcoming athletes, right? So to be a pro athlete or to be say a top athlete of a country is a goal you'll hear very often, but to say that I am an athlete, I feel for another athlete, and then top that off by saying I'm going to do something about it is something that's very rare according to me, right? Okay. So that is the reason Nikhil is here. You'll get to know why he's here as you watch this episode. He is the CEO and founder of Lazarus Sports India. We'll also leave a Instagram handle right here when I get that done. You can go check them out as well. So with that introduction, I think, Nikhil, we are good to go, man.
That was a very kind introduction. I don't think anyone's ever been this kind to me.
Okay. You deserve it, bro.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Nikhil, I want to start off with that exact point, right?
Okay,
so, what is the whole idea, man? You feel for these athletes. You're seeing a certain future for sports in this country, right? Correct. Where did that all start? Why are you so empathetic towards these athletes, and why do you want to do all this for them?
That started with my journey as an athlete, right? So whatever I'm doing right now, which I'm sure we'll come to, started with a whole lot of time and energy being put into my own development as an athlete, right? So when I started trying out to be a professional footballer, that's where the journey started. So football for me was a vent. It was a vent away from the world. All right. So for a guy that
it's another art form, right? It's another art form. If you think
football,
of it.
Football is an art.
Yeah.
But again, to be more specific, I'm a defender, or rather used to be. Now I'm just an uncle running a company. So,
by the way, from the time we started speaking about it, I feel he downplays himself a lot. I don't know why. You've been downplaying yourself, but anyway, continue. Continue.
So it's mostly about the connect that I have playing in that position as well as a defender, right? So it was always about going out and winning the ball back from the opponent. That's what we do as defenders, right?
Okay.
We try and defend goals. It's not much on the scoring part. It's about defending goals, right? So that's why the number 5 as well. That was the jersey number that I've had throughout my playing career, right? And I haven't really played much, but yeah, I've been in places and I've represented a few teams. My college team as well. I was vice captain for my university team as well. And but yeah, to begin with, the journey started way back in school. It was a vent for me. I used to get away from reality and I used to be in my own dream world while playing ball. So that's how football became an integral part of my life.
But that's what I understand, right?
Yeah.
I will get into that, but I first want to know why do you care about another athlete, man?
Yeah, that's what.
Why,
so
why did that become so important for you? Because I feel that's very integral to your story.
Exactly. So I feel that my journey as an athlete puts me there. You know, to feel for another athlete, it happened because I had a surgery in my knee.
When was this, bro?
This was late 2016, December 2016.
Okay. What happened?
And I had a anterior cruciate ligament tear in my knee, in my right knee. I had gone in for a header. I got a push from behind. While landing, my lower part of the leg went one way and the upper part of the leg went the other. The anterior cruciate ligament, it basically holds the knee together. It ruptured completely. So I had to undergo a reconstructive surgery and yeah, basically it started there. And then when I reached out to my immediate circle, I saw a lot of athletes struggling with the same thing. And there was absolutely no one that had a setup that would streamline the whole process in a nice way where the athlete could get back to sport.
Okay, from injury to recovery.
From injury to recovery. So there's a lot that goes in. So you get injured, you understand what the injury is, you undergo the medical process if need be. In my case, it was a reconstruction surgery. Post that, there's a whole lot of rehab that is supposed to be done. So there is not one particular place where you can get all of this done in one go. So to streamline all these processes, there are different doctors that do different kind of surgeries. I went to a doctor that said you have to do one open surgery, you will never be able to play again. And then I found a very nice doctor. In fact, we're in great terms even now. We're trying to do business with them even now, by the way. His name is Dr. Vinay. All right, and he's with Fortis Hospitals, who are also our medical partners right now with Lazarus Sports. And thanks to him, I could, start playing again. So after that was the rehab part. So luckily, I had one of the best people in sport helping me out. So I was doing my training under him as well. His name is Abhishek Jagan. He's our director of performance right now as well. He's won the ISL with Chennai FC. He has a lot of accolades. If I start talking about him, I think we'll need 2 or 3 more podcasts just to talk about him.
Very nice.
Yeah, he's a man that brings so much value to not just the systems he's part of, but also with people's lives. So I was lucky that I had him to mentor me. He's a sports scientist himself, and he told me what needs to be done in terms of my rehab. So
you had this support system that came in.
Yes.
Right, you were lucky enough to get that support system. Tell me if I'm interpreting this right. You got this support system at the right time, and now you suddenly realize that what if we put a system into place that gives that same support for many athletes? Am I interpreting that right?
Part of what we do.
Okay.
If you have to look at it,
but that's definitely one part.
That is definitely one part, one massive part of what we do, because at the end of the day, we want to look at it as a holistic ecosystem of sorts, where an athlete is honed, catered for, and probably he or she will be part of the system or go out and look at new opportunities. So it's about building a whole system there. It's about building a whole ecosystem for me. You know what I mean? So they don't have to look anywhere else apart from our system to do anything and everything in the world out there in terms of sport.
In terms of sport.
Yeah.
So, perfect, man. So that was my first thing that I wanted to get out of the way, right?
Yeah.
In terms of why does suddenly Nikhil Pande want to be there for these athletes, okay?
Yeah.
I got that from you.
Yeah.
Now, I want to move in to the other thing that has been running on my mind. And I feel like, we'll get into Lazarus Sports India more as we go on into the podcast. But there's this, I can't call it a myth. But I've observed this in a lot of movies, and I've also heard it from a lot of my friends who are athletes, that, when you're a pro athlete or when you're into athletics, it's tough to look at the business side of you. It's tough to look at the business side of things because, say, you don't have the right guidance, or rather no one's encouraging you to look at the business side of things, right? When did that transformation or transition happen for you as a person to go from saying I like playing football to saying now I look at it from the management point of view? So what was that spark?
Again, to do right by everyone in the sporting system. The whole reason why Lazarus Sports India was started was to cater to such athletes. It's the same reason, I'd say. Because the journey is so elaborate in terms of honing an athlete, in terms of putting him or her out there and saying, this is what an athlete should be doing. This is what, this is how an athlete should do. And probably post that phase, you're so engulfed in that athlete life, you don't look at anything else.
Yeah.
You do not look at anything else.
Yeah.
It's just that you wake up early in the morning. An athlete's life is very different from a normal human being's life, right? You sacrifice on so many things. You don't go to those parties because you're training. You wake up early in the morning.
You can't smoke. All of this gets in the way of you.
So that's the thing. So after a certain point, jobs come in, your everyday life comes into the picture, and that whole athlete life just stays away. It just stays there.
Yeah.
Now, to make that business connect, it's not too difficult. If you live that athlete life the way you were supposed to, if you've been disciplined, if you've been, conservative in terms of what you're doing, what your output is, right? That is what helped me get into the whole business angle of it. Yeah, it helped me. It really did. That discipline is what helps me still get up early in the morning if I have to, and still, no matter how late my previous day has been, I still wake up, I still go out, and I still get work done. But
it's the same discipline that's being applied. It's what discipline you applied on your sport is the discipline.
Pretty much. But again, why the business, right? Why? How is it so different from being the guy on the pitch to being the guy behind the desk? I'd say not much.
Okay, beautiful.
Because I loved it back then. I'm loving it right now.
Superb, man.
It's just that.
Happy for you.
Thank you. It's just that the only difference is, I could have been that athlete. Is a thought that still haunts me. I could have probably been that athlete. Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, I'm 27 and I had this injury at 24. That would have probably been my peak playing career. Probably missed out on quite a few scouting opportunities. Probably lacked the same fitness levels that someone else did. I don't know. There were a lot of these elements that would have clouded your thinking back then, which I'm clear with now. Because I look at it as a business now, and back then, if there was someone to guide me and would have probably told me that, look, you have to look at it practically, forget the emotions behind the sport, look at it practically, I would have probably been an athlete back then. A professional athlete back then. So now, it's not too different.
It's not too different.
I'm still in the same ecosystem. I still have the same people. And the community that I've built around me, the people in the company as well, are previous teammates, are people that helped me get into that supported me during my athlete career. They're still supporting me. They're part of Lazarus as well.
Beautiful.
So it's amazing. It's
lovely,
it's just now that I have to sit back and zoom out and see the whole picture. Which I haven't had the chance to be honest.
It feels nice now.
Feels good.
So now coming to Lazarus Sports India. Okay. I want to know, like, I want our viewers to know
Yeah.
from your side, like, what is Lazarus Sports India like all about? I'm sure, like, by now they'd have got the vibe of it, right?
Right.
But just wanted like a more, you know, direct, simpler version of what Lazarus Sports India is about, man.
We are a sports management, fitness, and wellness company. We are the new entrants in the market. Hopefully, all your viewers will support us.
They will, bro. I'm sure they will.
And to simplify it, to bring it down to just one word, one sentence of what I'm doing. I'm trying to find the next Virat Kohli or Sunil Chetri for India.
Beautiful. Bro.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Beautiful.
And all of this will only happen through a lot of processes to be in place, a lot of work that needs to be put in building the system around it, to building the infrastructure around it, to saying that, see, the constant trouble for an athlete has been that there is not enough infrastructure, there is not enough guidance, there is not enough support. So it's probably the PE sir's word against your parents. You suppose Adarsh was a good.
That's at the level where the conversation's happening. Yeah.
So suppose Adarsh was a good footballer, right?
I wish. I wish.
So suppose.
Stop laughing, man.
Yeah. So don't worry, he's not a good footballer.
Oh shit! Roasted
on record. So anyway, so if Adarsh was a good footballer in his school days, and let's say he's represented his school at nationals, it's the PE sir's word against his parents.
Yeah.
Right? Your parents would probably be like, hey, no, there's no future in it.
Yeah.
How will my son sustain himself post a certain age? What is he going to do? What is the career option? There are so many. It's just that people are blinded by the generic way of living, that they only look at their comfort, saying, all right, my son needs to have a 9-to-5 job. If he's doing engineering, or if he's a doctor, or if he's a lawyer, trust me, guys, law doesn't pay that well in the early days. All right, take it from a law school dropout.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, again, coming back to this, I'm sorry, we get sidetracked a lot.
No worries, man.
So there is money.
Yeah.
Who says there is not money? And there are so many career options even after your playing days.
It's not explained well enough.
Exactly.
It's not explained well enough, and it's because the right authorities are not in place.
The authorities, if you ask me, are in place. So for me, the person that I look up to is our current sports minister, Kiran Rijiju.
The reason being?
He's doing amazing work. He's started projects that were halted 10 years ago, 15 years ago. He's getting himself on site and understanding what kind of work is going on. Why have the projects stopped? Why have the funding stopped coming in? Where exactly the funds are being allocated. There's a lot of work that the man is doing.
That's
also, he's a man of so much energy. You know, he just makes his business to go and figure out on ground stuff.
On ground.
He doesn't have
how to do it.
He doesn't have to, but he is.
He is
and
doing it.
That's where I feel that the man's doing a great job. So there are people that are working for the system to work.
Okay.
But there aren't enough people buying in. You know, that buying in from parents and from the people perceiving this has to happen. There are a lot of private sectors in terms of sports. I mean, there are a lot of private entities in terms of sports who are doing amazing work. So the first club that I was part of is called Rebels FC.
Okay.
They're doing an amazing job.
Lovely.
Preetham, who was my captain when I was playing for Rebels when I was 16.
Okay.
He's the CEO of Footiculture, the company that owns Rebels FC. He's done an amazing job in terms of bringing this whole club together.
Okay.
And in fact, Rebels FC is the first private residential academy in Bangalore in football. They also have their own women's football team as well, and that's beautiful.
It's lovely.
I see other clubs also doing the same thing. Boca Juniors. Few of my friends, Nishad and Mekla, are also coaches there, and that's. I look at all of these people. Rayesh at FC Bengaluru United. So these are all friends that are coaches that are trying to change the system in their own sweet way.
So the vibe I'm getting from you right now is there are these smaller systems in place
Yeah.
that are pushing the right philosophy, if I may, the right philosophy
Absolutely.
at what's that? At grassroots level,
Absolutely.
right? As grassroots level, and is that what Lazarus aims at doing too? Is
Again,
that
that's a part of what we do. So whatever I've been explaining has been football centric.
Okay.
So we are not just worried about football alone. We are worried about sport in general. What is the future of sport?
So what are all the sports that you guys are looking at right now?
So to explain that, let me tell you about the verticals that we have, and then probably categorize all the sport that I have in different verticals. So to begin with, there's Lazarus Sports India, and the verticals that we have are schools and colleges. For schools and colleges, we provide coaches, in-house coaches. According to the new education policy, sport is now a part of the curriculum.
Thank God. So they're getting scores for it. That's what you're saying.
Beautiful, it's part of the curriculum now.
Lovely.
They can't treat it as something that they can have post school or probably allocate 1 or 2 periods for sport. It has to be part of whatever they do. It's part of their daily life, right? So in schools and colleges, we cater to football, basketball, cricket, volleyball, athletics, Zumba, yoga, swimming, horse riding.
Where do you find people to cater to so many things? Like, how are you getting so many? Getting people is one.
Yeah.
Getting people with the same philosophy is another.
Oh yeah. So if I have to talk about philosophy, there's a whole process that goes into our coach education itself.
Lovely.
So if I have to tell you how we work, 75% of our resources are diverted towards athlete development, 25% goes into coach education itself. So coach development. So most of the coaches that leave certain jobs is because they're either underpaid or they're not happy with the work. So it's either or. There's no in between. All right. But 90% of the coaches leave because they aren't paid enough. The coaches that we have are definitely full-timers. So apart from the work that they will be putting out on the ground, they will also have certain processes in place that help them upscale their knowledge on a daily basis.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, so
you're not even stagnating the coach's career. You're helping them upgrade. You're helping them upskill rather.
So the way I look at it, both of these complement one another.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
So if you stop one side ka growth, the other side obviously stagnates. Right? You can't upscale one without upscaling the other. So I see a lot of people going wrong with it, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, we need to make sure that the people in the system are catered to well. May it be athletes, may it be the admin staff, maybe the technical staff, coaches or anyone. So you need to, if you have to be that holistic ecosystem, you need to make sure that everyone in the system is catered to well.
Right.
If you go wrong with one, you're at the risk of losing. Right. That's mostly because of viewership, right?
Okay. Yeah, 100%.
I think viewership is something that
related to advertising, related to money.
That is one way of looking at it. The other way would be, grassroots development. You probably would agree if I'd say that, in Indian households, if they have to keep the kid engaged, they just buy a cricket bat or a ball and they send them to the park.
So true.
So if the same kid was sent with a football or a basketball, for me,
you've unlocked him right there.
That for me is grassroots development.
Beautiful.
And again, who are these coaches that are coaching these kids, right, at grassroots? You could probably have generic coaches doing this. I still fail to understand why I did that. In whatever PE periods that I've had in school.
I remember all my school, only in my 9th and 10th, I think they said you can play the sport that you want, and they would give us, whatever we needed. Before that, 8 years was what you just said. It was a drill. That's what we called it, right?
Yeah, so
drill.
That's
and we would do the drill proudly on sports day. Right? From the 1st to the 8th grade, we would stand and do the drill.
That's apparently supposed to drill in discipline into you. So, but that's not how it is it? That is definitely not how it is. Because, hey, they're kids. Let them be kids. Like even grassroots training for that matter, 6-year-olds, 8-year-olds, you can't drill in tactical stuff into them. You just let them be kids.
Yeah.
But that the number of I'll give you an example in football.
Okay.
The number of touches the kid is going to take in early days,
Okay.
right? That's gonna define his touch eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
Right?
100%.
Probably if there's a 90-yard or a 70-yard pass that's been played into,
Okay.
the kind of touch that you take would either help you beat the defender or help you keep the ball.
Yeah.
So these are all technical stuff that gets drilled in very early.
Very early.
That stays a long time,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
So these are things that need to be focused
that
on
needs
at
to
that
be
level.
changed. So it's so you mean if those changes take place at that level,
Yeah.
then eventually you will have. Do you dream of the viewership for football and cricket to be equal, or say football to be more
It
in a
probably
country
will
like India
surpass.
on some day?
It
At some
probably
day?
will surpass.
Yeah, you believe that?
It probably is happening
Truly?
as we speak.
Okay.
Yeah. So according to recent census, I don't know who did the survey, but the viewership in India, the way FIFA sees it, India is a sleeping country sleeping giant in terms of you know, the entire football process, the program itself.
Okay.
You know, so no, I mean, again, at the end of the day, I don't want to be looked at just football centric.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So what I'm trying to do here surpasses just football or cricket.
Just football. Yeah.
All right. So these are processes that we want to set that could be copied into any sport.
Any sport,
Any
yeah.
sport.
Yeah. Because the philosophy is the same.
Yeah.
The philosophy is the same for everything. Very nice,
Yeah.
man.
So I was telling you about the verticals that we have.
Oh, yeah.
So
Perfect.
schools
Yeah.
and
Let's get back
colleges,
to that.
these are the sports that we have. These are the 9
Yeah.
different sports and recreational stuff that we have. And apart from that, we have a grassroots program as well in basketball and football. This is run out of closed gate communities, third party centers, you know, like the grounds that you can rent and play. So places like that. And apart from that, we have our outdoor fitness aspect that has women's football, men's football, yoga, Zumba, strength and conditioning, physiotherapy, psychology and nutrition.
Oh, man. So I would say, if you haven't followed all of it, please go check it out. That's the easiest way to learn more about Lazarus Sports.
Right. So
India.
now the last four that I told you about, strength and conditioning, physiotherapy, nutrition and psychology. These are our 4 pillars that we base our high performance on. So this is like oxygen to any athlete.
These are tools.
These are tools for the end goal.
Tools, yeah.
Right? So now take this and bring it down to the common man. That is what we want to do. Every program that we have.
That's the simplified definition, man. That's lovely. Yeah, continue,
so
bro.
Whatever we have is not just open for athletes, but we want to give that athlete treatment to every client that we have. All right, something that an athlete does on a daily basis. So you just drank water. All right, how many liters of water do you drink a day?
Say 1.5 liters, 2 liters.
That is horrible.
Yeah.
Right? So
let's not talk about drinking, bro.
I mean, I said water specifically, Adarsh. Right?
We still have, the shoot is still pending. I can't get distracted.
All right. Was that an Old Monk bottle?
No.
All right.
Bro.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Anyway, so the amount of water that you need to have, even if you do have 6 liters of water a day, that is good. That is great. But who's tracking this data?
Yeah.
Suppose you have an end goal.
Yeah.
And you're doing a lot of things in terms of achieving the end goal. You have a diet going. You are mindful about how much water you consume. You are mindful about how many hours you sleep. Right? You're really mindful about it because you have an end goal. You have a very fitness oriented lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with strength and conditioning, physiotherapy, psychology and nutrition, those are the 4 pillars that we want to build a high performance thing on, high performance vertical on.
That's what's going to help them unlock.
So this we want to bring it down to the common man. That is what I told, right? So taking forward from there, now in terms of high performance itself, because it's oxygen to these athletes, right? How much of equipments are available for these athletes even to go do their high performance training. There are a lot of equipments that you need.
Okay.
These are equipments. See, it's not just about equipments here, to be honest. It's also about the personnel involved. How equipped are we as a country to unleash the maximum potential of an athlete?
Right.
We aren't.
Okay.
Sports science as a science
So on a
is
scale
about
of 1 to 10, what do you think we are?
0.5.
What?
Probably, yeah. Because
I think you're underestimating, bro.
no, I do this for a living. Others,
Like
trust me.
0.5, really?
So,
And
sports
is
science,
this in comparison like to other countries?
I'd say Germany.
So
I'd
where's
say
Germany at?
If Germany is a 10, we're a 0.5.
Oh man.
Right? So, let's say if you want to look up what I'm talking about, you could probably look at Exos High Performance, Aspire High Performance. All these are high performance places that are doing so much good to the world. Exos even has military grade contractors and all of it that help armies to sustain. And let's say for habilitation tour to the Afghanistan, there's a high performance team behind it.
Beautiful.
For the US Marines.
Lovely.
Right?
Lovely,
So
lovely.
what do we have for Indian soldiers? Heavy boots that probably cause them back pain at during the retirement. How do those heavy boots help? I don't know. I don't know. That we lack.
And all this is like
This
on
all
paper.
stems-
All this is research.
Yeah. All of these stems from our knowledge about high performance itself. Right? So it's not just the sport, it's even the defense. Right?
Nice.
So where are we as a country in terms of high performance? We are 7 years in terms of sports science itself. Right? So that is where I feel we can make that connect. We can bridge that gap. We are
That's where you guys come in.
actively, yeah, we are actively trying to set processes, buy equipment that could probably help bridge that gap. You know?
Help bridge that gap.
So that's where our director of performance comes in, Abhishek Jagan.
Abhishek.
Right, he comes with a lot of accolades, like I said earlier in the show. He's worked with Ranji players. He still works with Ranji players. He's worked with ISL athletes, international athletes. He's been with Inter Milan. It's an Italian club, by the way. It's a very famous Italian club if you've heard about it. He was there. He came down to India for the stint with Chennai FC with Marco Materazzi.
I think we should get him also on the show sometime.
Definitely, he'd love to.
He'd love to.
The guy can talk, and if he starts talking, you just listen, you know, because there's so much information coming out. Fun fact, I just got out of a meeting with him, and I think I was there for a good 3.5 hours, and there was just information coming left, right, and center. I'm like, whoa. There are things that I don't know, that I haven't even heard of. Is that a word? So these are the things. This is the kind of knowledge that comes out from him. So just having general conversations with him increases my knowledge so much, you know.
So Nikhil, I want to touch upon another thing here, right? I'm just sitting across you, and there is this strong sense of motivation that you carry. Okay, so you're a motivated individual. I think we all who are here, we can agree on that. Okay,
really kind of you.
Okay, so you're a motivated individual. I very often try to figure it out from people's stories, and the one thing that I like to figure out is where are they getting it from. It's usually from something that happened in their life, or there's something that they look at and they didn't like, or something. So you know, you're passionate about what you're doing, and you're motivated about what you're doing. You're caring for other people. I want to get into like your personal life. What's that one incident or one thing that happened in your life that made you more kind and more passionate and more empathetic, man?
It was probably the way I was raised, honestly.
Okay.
If you have to look at it that way, I'd say it was my grandfather. You know, he was a lecturer in Harvard University. He was a Hindi lecturer, and he used to say, so my mother tongue is Hindi.
Okay.
Right? So my ancestry hails from UP, but I'm as Kannadiga as one can be. All right? It's probably like 3 generations ago that my forefathers shifted and all of it.
Okay.
But the
was
only thing that stayed was the mother tongue,
Okay.
Hindi. Everything else, every culture, tradition, everything else is South Indian.
Okay.
Right? So he always used to say, my grandfather,
Okay.
"Tu jo bhi ban, acha insan ban."
Mm.
Right? So that
Be a
is the
good
ethos
person at
that
the
I
end
live
of the
by.
day.
I don't know as to how many people have wronged, but yeah,
doubt,
I've
man.
always tried to live by the righteous way.
Yeah.
You know, I hate going wrong somewhere. I absolutely hate it. If I've offended someone in some way, I try to make it up in
Yeah.
some other way.
And don't you feel even for your business side of life, just being a good person unlocks more opportunities? You might be talented and skilled, but if you're just generally, if you're an asshole, you're not going to make it in life. It's as simple as that. I mean, that's what I've believed, man. I've been in situations in my life where there are people along with me in my profession, and they're way more talented. But by nature, they're assholes. And they haven't got as much as what I have got in my life. And that's only because I started to realize that, yeah, man, being a good person goes a long way.
Definitely. So, but then again, these are assholes with money, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you counter that? You don't. At no point should you feel that you're in competition with that person.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. If you don't get the right vibes, stay away.
Stay away.
I'd try not to badmouth them.
Yeah.
But it's part of the shithousery that we do with friends. Oh my God, that guy's such a pain. We get it, but stay away.
So your grandfather was your source, you would say, one of the main sources of making you the person you are.
He is the reason the way I am today.
Lovely, man. Respect.
He built me. He molded me. I don't know. It's just him.
Lovely.
And also my mother, right? She was a very strong individual.
Okay.
She was someone that I lost recently. I think about 7 months ago, I lost her to cancer. But the doctors had ruled her out about 4 years ago.
Man.
And she lived. She lived only to see me shine. Sadly, it was the early days of Lazarus that she could see. We aren't out there yet, but we're doing all right. I would have loved it for her to, witness all of this. The ecosystem that I've built and everything around it.
First of all, sorry to hear that, but the fact that you're smiling, man, the fact that you're smiling as you speak about it, again, shows a mad trait of yours. As soon as someone talks about a topic like that, first of all, they don't have the courage to speak about it. Second, you're speaking about it with a smile. So that's what I've been saying. So this character of yours, I think, has been loud right from the first minute we have started shooting. I don't know how much of that you get. Awesome, man. There's one more thing I wanted to kind of address, before we call this. I wanted to know from you as to where's the future of sport in India going, man? Like, according to you,
are you planning on investing in Lazarus? I'll tell you only if you promise me that.
Bro, I'll try, man. I'll try. I don't know about Lazarus, but I'll invest in you.
Oh my God. Stop being so kind.
Yeah, bro. I just want to know your view on that.
Okay.
Because the reason why, so this is one question that I ask any guest is because it's very important. I want you to kind of just speak those few words, and I want you to kind of leave with it, because I want you to look back and say, yeah, man, I thought of that a few years back, and now I've actually gone through and done it.
Right. So, look, the traditional approach towards sport has to stop.
Okay.
People need to start looking at it as a career option. It's not just in government sector that, okay, you're a sports person, you need to look at a government job after that. That's one way of looking at it. But if you fail to make it as an athlete, you can still be associated in sport in so many different ways. You could be a coach if you have the technical and tactical skills for it. If you go out there and earn your coaching licenses, there are all these governing bodies that give out coaching licenses in their respective sport. You could look at that, or you could, because parents force you to do your MBA, you could still be associated with sports through that MBA.
Yeah.
Sports,
in so many ways.
sports admin. There's so many things. PR, media houses. There's so many things. There's so much in sport. Sport is here to stay.
Yeah.
I know COVID has definitely restricted a lot of us in terms of our...
We're speaking beyond that.
We're definitely looking past COVID and saying, what exactly is sport going to bring in, right? What kind of values does sport bring in? Yeah, there's a lot. If you're only looking at it from a career option, this is what I'd say. But sport for me is what helped me live through everything. I'd say through all my losses, it molded me to be stronger. It helped me stay away from a lot of bad habits. Smoking, drinking, all
So you
all
don't
that.
drink, you don't smoke?
I don't smoke, I don't drink.
You don't feel like it once in a
I
while?
never thought of it.
Okay, lovely.
Everyone around me says, oh no, you're missing out on a lot. Oh, you're missing out on this. I'm like, cool, मैं करेगा, मैं 35 के बाद करेगा.
Yeah.
Then you guys will only have to drive me home. That's what I tell them, because I'm the designated driver right now.
Oh, is it?
I drive them
Lovely,
home.
lovely.
Right? So I don't mind doing that. But then again, apart from all of this, it helped me live through a lot of ups and downs in life. It's life at the end of the day, right? There are ups and there are constant downs.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that's constant about life, is it's going to constantly beat you up to a pulp. And it's all about how you rise from there. And sport molds you into that character which says, I'm not going to back out from a challenge.
Yeah.
So I don't care where you send where you take up sport, where you send your kids to, which sport he or she takes up, make them play sport.
That's the
Please
idea you have for
help
the future.
them take up sport. So there are a lot of fitness implications to it. I'm pretty sure people already know. I don't want to be the guy that comes out here on a talk show and preaches.
Sure,
so
man. Sure.
Yeah, so you get the point.
Lovely.
Yeah. So that's how it is.
That is what I wanted to hear from you. Any final thoughts, Nikhil? Anything that you want to say? Any thought you want to leave with for this conversation, man, about what you do? Any final thoughts?
Not with what I do. I think I pretty much told you whatever I do. But honestly, thank you for having me. I'm not that big a guy that could come out on talk shows and have chat and go out and preach, but you gave me the platform to do it. And by that I'd probably highlight what we do at Lazarus as well. You're helping us reach out to the general public and the people at large, whoever's listening to your talk show, and they're probably looking at it and saying, all right, there is something like this in our country, and I'm glad you are giving us that platform.
Yeah, bro. I'm really how do I say this, bro? You've got the right words, right? So that's my only goal here. I just want to be this platform so that people with the good intentions, can actually come sit here and speak about it.
Right.
So if I've actually made that happen for you, there's nothing like it. There's one more thing that you said, right? I'm actually not that big of a person to come on a talk show. First of all, I don't know what is big. Second, for me, any person who's successful, big, made it, whatever it is already successful with intention, bro. Because scale is defined by different people differently. So your intention for me is already a success. And that's the reason you're here, man. So I think I leave you with that thought. More power to you. I wish a lot of kids, a lot of athletes kind of unlock themselves through Lazarus Sports India.
Yeah.
And that's what I wish for you.
Right. Thank you.
And man, I'm looking forward for another conversation with you in a few years.
Okay.
To again discuss another side of things. Time flew by. I wish I could continue with you, but man, I had a great time with you, man.
Thank you so much, Adarsh. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So I hope you liked that episode. If you liked it, please hit the like button. Also subscribe to the channel. And if you have a few questions, leave it in the comments. And yeah, do follow Nikhil on Instagram. There's a lot you'll find there. So thank you for watching. This was episode 7 of On a Personal Note with Adarsh Sakare. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.